What is up guys, Stu here. So continuing on with the bunch of late reviews I got popping up on my channel at the moment. I don't know why I say that as if it's a good thing. But anyway, a couple of weeks ago I went out and saw The Red Turtle. Let's talk about that shit. So The Red Turtle, if you haven't heard about it, is the latest film, kind of co-production from Studio Ghibli. It's not like a full Studio Ghibli film in the sense that it's got the same directors and crew behind it, but it's presented by them and it's kind of co-produced by them along with Wild Bunch, which is a French animation studio. So the two of them are sort of co-making this animated film for us under the Studio Ghibli name, which obviously lends it some weight because you guys know I fucking love me some Studio Ghibli films. I think that's a very popular opinion there. It's hard to come by someone that watches a Studio Ghibli film is like, you know what? I wasn't utterly moved and captivated by that magical piece of cinema. I'm done here. 1 out of 10. No, that person doesn't exist. And if you think that person does exist, you're wrong. And if you think you are that person, who hurt you, man? Who hurt you? Anyway, this one's directed by Oscar-nominated Michael Dudok-Witt. Think I'm saying it right? Probably aren't. But anyway, rambling aside, The Red Turtle basically tells the story of this guy who's shipwrecked on an island, and we essentially follow him as he's trying to survive there, he's trying to get off, and he grows to know some of the island's inhabitants, or some of the inhabitants of the ocean around it. That's all I'm going to say. There's not really a huge amount else you need to know going into this film, and I think saying much more would ruin some of the surprising elements of this film. Just go into it knowing as little as you can and you'll have a really, really awesome time. That's how I went into this one. But it is just a absolutely gorgeous, wonderful, stunning little film. I absolutely wholeheartedly loved The Red Turtle. And I can't actually talk about performances in this one because it's a silent film. Well, more or less silent. There are noises and there's the occasional hey or ah. So there aren't really any actual moments of dialogue which are needing any voice acting there, so I can't really comment on performances there, so we're just going to skip past the usual performance notes on films here. I'm going to go straight to the direction and the animation and everything else about this film that makes it just so stunning and unique and wonderful. We know from Studio Ghibli's past films that they like to do good animation. It's a staple of their films. One of the main things you hear when you come out of a Studio Ghibli film is, hey, that looked good. That looked really fucking good. And even though what this being a co-production with another animation studio, this isn't their usual style in anime style. I mean, this is a gorgeous film. Just the simplicity of the drawing on this one, of the characters, of nature, of the island, it's all stunning to look at. There isn't a single frame in this one which just didn't leave me going, oh my goodness, my eyes. And the colours that are infused throughout it are really fantastic as well. It's surprisingly a film which is actually quite dull at points in its colour palette and in its design, and I don't mean that as a negative. I mean it's just really interesting to see the way that the animators are showing, I guess, different seasons on this island, different elements of nature. It's just a beautiful, beautiful film color-wise there. And there's also some sequences, if I remember correctly, which are almost kind of black and white monochrome there. They're completely desaturated, and they really add an interesting element to it on those fantasy, surreal sequences. So color-wise, animation-wise, gorgeous film here. But just the direction from Michael Dudok-Witt here, it is fantastic and has to be commented on. I always appreciate seeing films which are so heavily visual focused in terms of the storytelling side of things, especially when it's a film like this which doesn't have a screenplay, it doesn't have any dialogue. It is essentially entirely a visually told story. So that really does sort of bring out talent in directors. I'm always impressed when I see a director who's able to tell such incredibly engrossing, compelling and interesting stories with no dialogue. I mean, it is a talent, and here it's done fantastically. I really did get on board with the character, despite not really knowing anything about him and not really given anything to hold on to about him. He is basically as simple as characters come. He's just a guy that's washed up, and we follow him through the film, and it works really, really fucking well. I just think the simplicity of it all really helped to heighten some of the more moving and dramatic elements of the story that are at play here, because there are a lot of really moving and dramatic moments of the story. Honestly, this film moved me to tears at multiple points, so that is a testament to the talent of director Michael Dudok-Witt here. Nails it on that sense. And I also just love the incorporation of surrealist elements in here, outside of the kind of simple storytelling techniques it takes on here. But it would have been so easy just to sort of go through this film as simple as it could, just a guy washes up and we just follow him. But I really enjoyed the decision to throw in moments which we kind of question whether they're actually happening, you know? Like certain dreamlike sequences that blend in so wonderfully to other sequences in the film, and I realised just in a breathtaking manner particularly with the kind of, I'll call it floating imagery, which sounds weird, and if you haven't seen the film, you're probably like, Stu, what are you doing? Get away from all of the drugs, stop taking the drugs. Not taking drugs, guys. But no, if you've seen the film, hopefully you know what I'm talking about. It's just one of the things I picked up on when I saw it. A lot of really, really fascinating imagery regarding floating in the film. I can't really go into huge amount of spoilers there if you haven't seen the film, but you might know what I'm talking about if you've seen it. I might just be rambling, like an idiot rambling about floating. This is weird. But it's all heightened as well by a stunning score. Honestly, the score in this film just keeps on building and just has so many different elements to it that all just work beautifully with the drama we're seeing on screen, particularly in the fact that it's dialogueless. It doesn't have any speaking in it. The score has to come into its own sort of thing there. It is its own part of the film, and it highlights so much of the film, and they nailed it. The score is beautiful. I love the kind of choral elements to it. I love the string side of things. I love the way it works, showing the scenery and the nature of the island. Just beautiful, because there's a lot of time in this film that is spent just sort of looking at nature and the world around us without actual action or drama happening, and the score and that side of things really did help to evoke emotions from what we're seeing in the environment around our characters. Are just gorgeous in that side of things. And I appreciate above most things in this film that it's never afraid to just take a moment just to breathe. There are countless moments in this film where you can argue nothing's happening. We're just seeing, I guess, trees sway, or, you know, a breeze over the ocean, which makes me sound like I'm describing a travel advert. It's better than that. It is. I was really, really blown away by the Red Turtle. Absolutely loved it, and I had a beautiful, beautiful time with it. I cannot recommend it strongly enough. If you're a fan of Studio Ghibli, you'll love it as well, even though it is a co-production with another animation studio there. But yeah, you will love it if you're a fan of Studio Ghibli, of good, interesting animated films, and something that will give you a different perspective than you're used to seeing from films. Go and see The Red Turtle. You will not regret it. I'm going to go ahead and give it a very well-deserved 5 stars. Cannot wait to check this one out again. Cannot wait to own it on Blu-ray. One of those films where I immediately left it and I was like, well, I need to own that now, so sorry, bank account. You didn't need any money anyway, so... But what about you guys? Have you seen The Red Turtle? Let me know in the comments below if you have seen it. I'd love to know what you guys thought. How does it compare to some of Studio Ghibli's other works? As usual, if you like this review and you want to see me talk about more shit, go ahead and click subscribe. But until next time, stay beautiful, motherfuckers.